right, guys, here we go. La Liga is about to kick off. Welcome back to the channel. I'm doing predictions for the very first time on this channel, so I don't know how it's going to go. I may look like a genius or I may look like an idiot. The transfer window is still open, but I don't care. We're very close. I'm going to look very confident for the next 20 minutes or so. I'll probably get fried here come February and look like a total idiot. All right, so like I said, it's La Liga time. 20 teams, one winner, a whole lot of drama. And again, this is my opinion. And I'll probably be wrong on some of these or a lot of these or all of them. Go in the comments. Let me know what your predictions are. Give me your top 4, your bottom 3, your dark horse, and your wildest hot take that you think is going to happen in this La Liga campaign. Maybe you think Girona's going to win the league. Maybe you think Vinicius is going to go on a revenge tour and score 40 goals. Or maybe you think Valencia is going to get back into Europe. Drop them in the comments below. All right, let's get into it. We are starting from the bottom and working our way up to number 1. All right, we are starting at the bottom, the very bottom. And unfortunately, it's going to be Real Oviedo. Now, look, this was a fairy tale story. This is their first time back in La Liga in a very, very long time. That's a cute story. They'll probably get a Disney movie, but it's not going to work out for them. They'll be organized. They'll have some spirit, just like we see from a lot of promoted teams. But over 38 games, I don't see enough goals or depth for them to stay up. So they're out of here. Elche, I got them at 19th. Eder Sarabia's side plays with intent. They play with intent, but Alvaro Rodriguez and Murad will need a career year to keep them up. Goals will be hard to come by for this team. They have no chance of staying up, in my opinion. Grand open and grand closing. All right, coming in at 18th, we have Levante. The city of Valencia has 2 teams in the first division of La Liga. Again, that's cool to see. They won the second division last season. That's how they got promoted up. But look, this team, they're fun to watch. I saw a couple of highlights. They look fun in attack. But they're fragile in the back. They'll be involved in some wild score lines, but that defense has too many gaps, and they're going to allow so many goals in. Yeah, they're out of here. Next up, I have Rayo Vallecano, who punched well above their fighting weight in La Liga last season, matching their joint best finish in La Liga in 8th place, and they qualified for the Conference League. Issei Palazón and Alvaro Garcia keep them competitive, and their stadium, they have home field advantage because the uniqueness of that stadium, it's really like closed in. It's actually fun to watch teams play in that stadium, but it won't be enough. It just won't be enough. They're going to struggle. I think they're just going to take a big step back from 8th. Like I said, they punched well above their weight last season. Can't see it for them this season. All right, I have Mallorca at 16th. Look, Jagoba Arasante, he just has a stubborn style. It's very compact, but it works for them somehow. But they don't have any creative spark on this team whatsoever, and they stay in the bottom half. I really want to go to the beach in Mallorca one day. All right, next up is Osasuna, 15th. Look, these guys, they're known as the Fighting Budimirs because that's who they rely on all the time. For me, Budimir is a club legend for Osasuna. And low-key, like a subculture La Liga legend as far as striker goes. He reminds me so much of Aritz Aduriz for Atleti Club. Both tremendous strikers, have memorable moments from goals, game-winning goals, incredible strikes. But Osasuna can't keep relying on this guy. They'll grind out games, but I got him finishing 15th. Next up, I got Celta Vigo at 14th. Geraldez's youth movement is going to have to be mentored by Iago Aspas and Borja Iglesias. Look, this team relies on however Iago Aspas plays. This guy's been carrying the team forever on his back. Keeps getting older. I don't know if he has any more magic left in him. Look, Celta Vigo sometimes can be a giant killer. They can. We've seen some tight games with them. They've taken down some top teams in La Liga before. I don't think they have enough to move up from this spot. They'll stay clear of relegation, but I'm not expecting much from them. All right, moving on to Getafe at 13th. I hate this team. I hate the way they play. Bordales's ball is awful football. This is like worse than Simeone. This is what Simeone wishes he could play like, but the fans would not accept it. Getafe is one of the most physical, gritty, intimidating teams to play in La Liga. They live for yellow cards. They park the bus. That's just how they play, and it works for them. It really does. I can't be mad at it, but I hate playing against them. It's ugly football, but it works for them. So I got them finishing 13th. All right, next up is Espanyol. They will be hoping that the departure of Joan or Juan Garcia going to their city rival Barça does not derail their chances of staying up in La Liga this season. They have enough in the squad to keep them up in like the mid-table, but that's about it. I don't see them flirting with relegation, but anything can happen. We'll see how important that Garcia departure is for them. Next up, I got Alaves finishing in 11th place. Luis Rioja, he sparks the attack. This team has solid defense. They've always been that way. They're just a safe mid-table club. Again, this is kind of one of those teams that can be a giant slayer. They don't lay down by any means, but they're a mid-table team. All right, next up is Sevilla, and this one might be a shocker because this club has been on a stark decline for a couple seasons now. This team has so much history. They are a 7-time Europa UEFA Cup champion. They last won Europa League in 2023, but since then they finished 13th and 17th just last season. But I think, with Matias Almeida bringing like energy and aggression and hopefully tapping into that history, that once had them as like a permanent top 4 club in La Liga. I don't think they are going to get into the top 4 by any means, but I think this is a bounce back season for them. So we'll see what happens there with Sevilla. All right, next up I have Valencia finishing at 9th. I have them taking a step forward based off of their finish last season, which was in 12th. And this is solely based on the rise of their player, Javi Guerra. This kid is special. I don't think they're going to be able to hold on to him for a long time, but he's a great player. And then you add that in with Corberan's structure. It makes them a hard team to beat. They're always a hard team to beat. They turn into the best team in the world whenever we play against them. They probably have the best home field advantage outside of the Bernabeu, in my opinion, with the Mestalla, which I've been to, and that place is a fortress. So I see Los Che, the Murcielagos, whatever you want to call them, finishing in 9th place this season. All right, coming in at 8th, I have Real Betis, who reached the Conference League final last season. They still have Isco out there orchestrating. They have Cucho Hernandez. After coming in last season, we should see some goals from him. They still have Jose, and then they still have Pellegrini at the helm, and he keeps them in the mix. So I think this is a dangerous team. This is my dark horse. They could cause some damage at the top and the bottom for a lot of teams. Real Betis might do some things, so I got them finishing at 8th. All right, next up I have Villarreal, and I have a fun fact. So they kick off the season against Real Oviedo, and the reason why this is special is because Santi Cazorla plays for Real Oviedo, who used to play for Villarreal. So that is a storyline in itself. Again, Real Oviedo, they're back in top flight football after 20 plus years. So that could be a special game to watch if you're neutral or just in the La Liga. Or want to see Santi Cazorla cry. Either way. But back to Villarreal. This club will be looking to rebuild after the departure of Alex Benea, which I think was a mistake. I don't know why they let him go. I would have built my team around him. This guy is a phenomenal player. They also let Terreno Barry go, which he was looking like a blossoming player in this system. Again, I'm not understanding these moves from Villarreal, but they must know something that I don't. So they have Gerard Moreno, who, let's just be honest, he's older, but for this team, his health is key. Again, I don't understand why they let Benea and Barry go and want to rely on Moreno, but okay. But the positive of Villarreal is Marcelino's style. His structure keeps him very competitive. He gets the most out of his players. Honestly, this team could fight for a top 4 spot. I have them at 7th, but they could easily sneak into that top 4 and that 4th position. It could go either way, but I have some questions in their attack, so we'll see what happens with them. But I got them finishing at 7th. All right, next up I have Girona. They kick off the La Liga campaign against Rayo Vallecano. And you probably got first wind of Girona or remember them being the surprise team in the 2023-2024 La Liga season where they were just cooking. And that was the rise of Michel, the manager. Last season they finished 16th. I think that was just a fluke. Unfortunately, Girona is a selling club. Michel is a incredible manager, and if he was at a bigger club with more finances, I think he would be doing some crazy things. They just had to sell their top players, so it's constantly just bring players in and ship them out. And I think that kind of hurt them last season. But I think Michel's he gets the best out of his players, other than last season, obviously. As long as Michel's there, this team always can be dangerous. His style just clicks, but again, they lost some key attackers. So there might be a slight regression, but I have them bouncing all the way back from 16th to 6th. I think this team, they're not my dark horse, but I do think that they'll rise. And like I said, I believe more in the manager just based on like what he's done and what he gets out of his players. So this is my boldest prediction. I'll probably be wrong about this one, but that's just how I'm feeling right now. Speaking of having forgettable seasons, Real Sociedad had one last year that was this. It was atrocious. These guys couldn't score. They scored 35 goals. They had a goal difference of -11. They just couldn't get it together. And by their standards, it was just very disappointing. They missed out on European football. They finished 11th. And that was their lowest placing in La Liga since the 2017-2018 season where they finished 12th. They have creative players like Kubo, Oyarzabal. I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. I know how to say it in my head, but it just comes out the wrong way. But either way, they have creative players. They have goal scorers. I think they'll bounce back. There's no way that they're going to just only score 35 goals again this season. I have them taking a huge leap forward and getting back into the top 4 race. Coming in at 4th, I have Athletic Club or Athletic Bilbao. They finished 4th last season. So this was kind of easy for me to pick them here at this spot. They secured a place in Champions League for the first time since 2014, 2015. They made a huge statement of intent by keeping their star young player, Nico Williams, who was phenomenal in the Euros, but probably had a disappointing, he did have a disappointing season in La Liga. And then there were rumors about him going to either Real Madrid, which I would have loved, or Barcelona, and that fell through. But the other star, outside of Nico Williams, matter of fact, there's a lot of stars on this team, but the other star that I want to highlight is Sunset. This guy, he scores goals. He just needs to stay healthy. That's it. If he can stay healthy, this team is very dangerous. The Lions are very dangerous. The San Mames is a fortress as well. That place is always rocking. It's going to be interesting to see how they perform in the Champions League during the season, but I think they're going to finish in 4th again. All right, now we're in the top 3, and I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a deeper dive on these teams. Coming in at 3rd, I have Atletico Madrid. They typically round out the traditional big 3 in La Liga. They finished 3rd last season, and they've been rebuilding under Diego Simeone. Their starting 11 could look completely different this season. So they have some new potential starters that could change the look of this team. Starting off with Alex Pineda, Rueri, Almeida, Cardoso from Real Betis. Simeone can't keep playing the same deep block that he's been doing. He has too many weapons on this team. I feel like this team has always been stacked, but I think Diego Simeone is holding them back, to be honest. I know it's wild to say, but I really do think that he's been holding them back with his system. This squad is just built more progressive football, in my opinion. That's just based on the players and talent that I see on that team. They need to be playing more progressive football. But blending so many new attacking pieces can blur some things up. It really can, and I think that's the biggest worry here is like how will this all work? This stuff will take time. Bringing in this many players is kind of an evolution. And I don't know if Diego Simeone has time. It's crazy to say. He He's a club legend, player and manager, but I think the fans want more and expect more. In the past, this club was known not to spend any type of money, but these last few seasons, they've been spending a lot of money. Just look how much they paid for Julian Alvarez, and they keep spending. So, I don't know. I think this season is more about evolution and not domination. It's all just going to be an experiment, which can be dangerous. They'll still be a dangerous side, and I still have them finishing third, but we could see like some shock losses here just because Simeone is going to need a lot of time to figure out his best 11. He has so many new players, and they have to build this chemistry. And we saw how they performed in the Club World Cup. It wasn't great. So, I don't know. I still have them. This is just based off of brand and identity, but they could finish outside the third. They're nothing less than fourth, but I don't know. This might be a season that they don't round out the big three in La Liga. All right, so second, Real Madrid. No, I'm just kidding. Barcelona. And here's why. Let's just get this out of the way. Barcelona won the league last year. They're coming back as the champions. Brilliant debut for Hansi Flick as the new manager. Lamine Yamal went crazy. A redemption season for Raphinha. That was cute. This is a good team. They are built strong. And they'll continue to build upon that success. But Lewandowski is getting older. The back line, I'm seeing some issues. Playing that high line, I think teams, it caught them off guard last season. But we saw what happened against Inter Milan. And I think teams are hip to Hansi Flick's tactics, that high line that Barca play very well, but I think teams are hip now. And they leaked some goals too. So, look, I think the glaring issue is their back line. Araujo is, I don't know what's going on with him. Koundé is a good player, but sometimes he gets lost, and who knows what's going on with their goalkeeper situation. So that'll be interesting to see. But their attack, midfield, solid. Again, Lamine Yamal, Raphinha, there's a reason why they're Ballon d'Or candidates. Hansi Flick came in and did the unthinkable. Hansi Flick's second year brings belief and momentum. Lamine Yamal is ready to put up even more crazy numbers. Raphinha, though, I don't know. We'll see if last year was a fluke. Gavi's return gives a boost to that midfield. I'm not sure if he's a great player, but I guess it gives a boost to the midfield with Pedri and De Jong. If Lewandowski can still score, they're going to be a problem, but he's getting older. And the new wrinkle here is Rashford. I don't really rate Rashford that well. I'm still trying to figure out how he scored 30-plus goals for Manchester United that one season. He brings pace and power, but we'll see how that works out. Obviously, if he's in a Barca shirt, then Barca fans love him and think he's the next coming, but I don't know if he's going to help you that much. We'll see. But overall, look, I can't front. This system works. Hansi Flick has these boys cooking. Somehow it works. The high line. But again, like I said, I think teams are hip now. We'll see how that plays out. The real question is if the rivals, which is my club, Real Madrid, if we adapt. But they still have a lot of quality and, they could easily be first place, but I don't think so. And in first place, you already know what it is. Did you think I wasn't going to put these guys first place? I'm going to give you a legit reason why I think Real Madrid is going to win La Liga this season. So it's the start of a new era under Xabi Alonso's tutelage. And from what we've been seeing from the Club World Cup to this recent preseason game, I've seen so much progression through individual players. Fran Garcia, he's been stepping up. Now, we brought in Alvaro Carreras, but Fran Garcia transformed. Gonzalo Garcia, Arda Güler, Tchouaméni. I can keep going on. All these guys have gotten much better under this system. And that's a positive sign. That has me thinking like we're going to get back to our winning ways. Now, with that being said, Xabi Alonso's challenge is not having Jude Bellingham for much of the front part of the La Liga season. The other challenge is Vinicius Jr. working well with Mbappe. The other challenge is will Rodrigo stay or go? And if he does stay, where does he fit into the system? Does he end up being a starter or is he going to be a super sub? How does he get all those players thriving together? That's the challenge. Vinny has to rediscover his 2022 season. The Ballon d'Or candidate, Vinny. He has to rediscover that. Not only for a contract, but just so that people don't write him off. Rodrigo, his problem is consistency. Look, when he gets in, he looks great, but we expect more from him. And I know he's not playing his preferred position, but we expect more from him when he's on the pitch. And then this midfield. It has to function without Luka Modric and Toni Kroos. All season last season, we were talking about this club is missing a Toni Kroos player. Like, he controlled the team. I'm happy with Arda Güler, Tchouaméni, Valverde, and then I'll throw Jude back in there once he gets back from his shoulder injury. But again, the positive signs that we saw starting in the Club World Cup. Arda Güler getting minutes. Gonzalo Garcia's rise. Trent Alexander's creativity. If we can get what he was putting in at Liverpool, come on now. And then injuries. We have to be healthy. But I legit blame last season mostly on injuries. We just weren't healthy. And the players that we had to run into the ground. I mean, there was no way that these guys were match fit every game. That's the biggest thing that we need to do. We need to stay healthy. And if all these things align, Real Madrid's firepower will edge Barcelona's. Have you seen Mbappe? He looks great. He's not coming in like last season. He started off slow. Mbappe has been cooking. The stomach bug that he had in Miami might have been a blessing because he shedded the weight. He has a faster twitch now. He looks lively. He's scoring goals. He knows what's expected of him. And he's thriving in this system under Xabi Alonso. I think he's going to go for that Ballon d'Or this year. I'm just putting it out there. Mbappe's going for Ballon d'Or. Arda Güler will be a top 5 midfielder, and he won't be number 5. That's what I'm putting out here. Champions of Spain, Real Madrid. Lock it in. And that's it. That's my La Liga predictions for 2025-2026 campaign. Real Madrid, the champions. Real Oviedo, sadly, are going back down to the 2nd division. And probably 80% of you are going to roast me in the comments. I'm here for it. Do me a favor, though. Drop your top 4, your bottom 3, your dark horse, and again, your wildest hot take that you think is going to happen in this season in La Liga. Then, in May, we can all look back at this, and I can either laugh at all of you, or you guys get to laugh at me. But until then, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new here, and I appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. Until next time, a la Madrid, peace.